Let's bring in John Bussey now. He's the associate editor of the Wall Street Journal. So there's lots of stuff now.
Yeah, there is.
Yep.
There's this story.
Yep.
What are they investigating? We don't really know. We know that they wanted to find out how the Russians were.
Why are you so buddy-buddy with Vlad?
That, and also the hacking of the DNC and others. They wanted to know what was Russia up to, and were they being helped in some manner, and we don't have clarity on that yet. And mind you, the initial inquiries into Manafort's dealings with Russia, he had business ties in Russia and Ukraine before taking on the role of campaign manager for Donald Trump, which he no longer has. The issue there was primarily, hey, did you pay taxes on the income that you got from the Ukraine? Not were you in some kind of big cahoots with them on hacking emails. So, it's unclear what this is. I think the Democrats want the sort of the issue of kind of confusion about it put into the marketplace the way the emails were put into the marketplace by the FBI to create a stir to maybe halt some momentum on the Trump side. Well,
he has that. He has the matter of taxes, which is being screamed about a lot now.
Yeah, the New York Times has done a very interesting story on kind of a dodge that he used. He went out and his organization went out and got professional advice from lawyers who deal with taxes who said, hey, probably don't do this, so you're going to get audited. But this is one way, apparently, he used so that he didn't have to pay taxes over the last many years. The tax experts say to the New York Times, look, this is kind of really stretching the tax law.
More than anyone had ever done it, according to their investigation.
This particular loophole, and you're basically taking advantage of the losses that somebody else incurred, your bond issuers. So, will this change the complexion of the campaign? Look, we already knew that from earlier stories that the New York Times broke, that he hadn't paid taxes because he had this big loss, and he was allowed to carry that forward for years, even though he was kind of criticizing others for not paying their taxes or the way the tax dollars were being spent. He wasn't paying federal taxes, apparently.
And he was blaming Hillary Clinton because he said, if you'd been on Capitol Hill, if you'd done anything, the loophole that I used would have been closed. Well, as it turns out, they did close it. And Hillary Clinton was one of the ones who voted to close it.
Yeah, that's right. Now, so will this affect the election? I got to think probably not. I mean,
no.
It was already out there that he hadn't paid taxes. That was the big issue. And Manafort's, involvement with Ukraine was also sort of out there. These are kind of ambiguous issues this late in the election. And we're seeing a tightening of the race. And why is that? Because Republicans are kind of coming home to the Republican Party, just like some of the Congress people who were denouncing him after the tape in which he talked about, sexual assault. After they denounced him, some of those have reversed course and now say, well, they're supporting the Trump candidacy.
It's like the
voters are coming home.
It's like coming home after a hurricane. You may not recognize the place, but it's the only one you have.
Right. That's maybe not a bad analogy.
And it's right where you left it. There's just not much of it.
Yeah. So these races are tightening, and is it because of the FBI on Friday talking about Hillary Clinton again? Maybe not. There's some of the polls that we've seen now that span the time since the FBI made those remarks show Clinton not moving too much in one way or the other in her advantage in certain states or her disadvantage in certain states. So, it's unclear how much of this is kind of noise in the system. Will it affect the outcome of the election? Probably not.
Probably not. You know what affects the outcome of the election? North Carolina.
As
goes North Carolina.
Florida, Pennsylvania. These are all, they're called battleground states for a reason.
You got to have all of them.
Yeah, she's narrowed a bit in Virginia as well, where she had a substantial lead just a couple of weeks ago. Yep. Again, Republicans saying, what am I going to do? Am I going to vote for a Democrat, or
am I going to vote for
the Republican Party? And that has huge implications down ballot, right? Yeah. We're seeing some of those races tighten as well, to the advantage of some of the Republican candidates.
It's starting to look like, to hear from our decision desk now, based on their numbers and what they've said without saying it looks like the presidency is still a long haul, but that the Senate looks a lot better for Republicans than it did a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it looks a bit better. It looks a bit better than it did a couple of days ago. And again, probably because of this phenomenon of Republicans finally coming around and say, hey, when the pollster calls and say, I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for, I don't like what's going on, they're begrudgingly saying, in some cases, in other cases saying enthusiastically, I'm going to vote Republican.
Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line.
Here we go. Maybe so.
That's how it normally works.
Maybe so.
1 week. The life
7
cycle
days.
of a Luna moth.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll be over.
But we can't wait to get there.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's
Yeah,
159 long hours.
For the candidates too, I suspect.
I'm not really concerned about
Yeah,
them, frankly.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
John.